Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome. Welcome to night number 3 of a 4-part series. We are talking about protection from harm, that your Blackness should not hurt in the workplace, and what are the 4 things that you can do right now to stop the pain. Black career women are wanting to stop the pain of dealing with and learning how to deal with physical and psychological pain in the workplace. And also, they want to learn how to enable stress. They want support in normalizing and supporting their mental health. And they want to learn how to operationalize their workplace rights so that they are not left in health disparities. Let me get to my slides. I hope everyone is doing well. I am Glenay, the COPE consultant. I help Black career women eliminate job stress in 40 days and enjoy luxuries reserved for the wealthy. Let me see if I can find my PowerPoints. Again, I do apologize. This is not the correct platform, and I have PowerPoints, right? And I can't share my screen. So you guys are just going to, if you join me live, that will be awesome, but I won't see you when you come in because I am not on that interface. I'm watching my PowerPoints and reading from there, so I can't man both my PowerPoints and YouTube live chats are just knowing when someone comes in to say hello. If you are catching on a replay, thank you for taking some time out to hear the information, the very important health information that I have for you. And I'm so glad that you're here. Okay, so welcome to tonight. This is day 3 of 4, protection from harm. This is the Blackness shouldn't hurt, the 4 must-dos to stop the pain right now. We are discussing how Black career women are supporting and normalizing workplace mental health. I'm Glenay. I help Black career women eliminate job stress in 40 days and enjoy luxuries reserved for the wealthy. And if you are a Black career woman, paycheck dependent, you depend on your paycheck for your life and your well-being, and you are experiencing job stress, tonight's information is specifically for you. Stay close to what I'm about to share tonight. Ask questions and participate in the way that I am asking for you to participate so that you can reach health equity. Okay? So, job stress is the number one reason pre pandemic employees see their doctors. This is pre pandemic. I, I mean, the numbers were already staggering. 75 to 95% of all doctor's office visits to primary care and internal medicine doctors were because of some issue with job stress. Job stress is the number one cause. We already know that stress, period, is the number one cause of disease. Job stress is no different, okay? Job stress leads to mental, physical, spiritual, emotional sicknesses. Job stress can be eliminated. It is alive from the pits of hell that you need to manage and tolerate things. Your job as a Black woman who is experiencing job stress is to eliminate that stressor out of your life so that you can move on into your promised life. That is what your job is. Because when we don't, 75% of all diseases are from unhealthy emotions. Imagine knowing what it is that you are supposed to be doing and not doing it. Granted, I understand that there are a lot of resistance that is against you, but even with the resistance against you, your job is to cope. And I have talked to many people, and people don't seem to understand that the word cope means to meet force with force, the same force, until you overcome. Good always triumphs over evil. So, your job, your only job when dealing with job stress, is to meet that challenge head on, to confront it, to address it, to eliminate it, and to move forward. That is what our job is. Um, Yet, when you experience job stress, you go to therapy and you go to the doctor, and the doctor desperately wants to help you. So he writes you a prescription because you have all of these psychosomatic complaints of stomach pains and headaches. And so you get on these medications, but you never, ever address the cause of why your stress hormones are raging out of control. So before I go on, just something just popped into me. Have you heard of the term idiopathic disease? Idiopathic disease is means that my colleagues and I do not know where your disease come from. Okay, we don't know the origin of your disease. That's what idiopathic means. Idiopathic also means personal. When you look up the root word of it, it also means personal. Now, can you imagine having an idiopathic disease and you're going to a doctor and he's telling you, listen, Tanisha, you have this disease and we don't know where it came from. But then on the flip side of that, you have this disease and you know where it came from because it came from a personal situation of yours that you failed to address. That's partly of why we're here, is to help with your mental health, okay? To support and to normalize these things, because your one job is to protect your mind, to protect your heart. And in the workplace, we seem to lose our mind and our hearts. So, after my own experience with workplace discrimination, healthcare bias, and employee burnout, near burnout, and I'm very specific on what I mean by burnout. Burnout for me, in my definition of burnout for my community, is for people who are using medications, psychiatric medications, anti-anxieties, antidepressants, just to tolerate work. That's a burnout to me. Okay. Um, yeah, that is a burnout because you're fearful in the workplace and are you know something is happening, but you just don't have enough information and enough support and enough ideation. Like, you need to see people who have done these things before, and that's why you're here in this community, so that you can be around people who have overcome the system in this way, so that you are not left behind. We don't want any idiopathic diseases happening, personal diseases, and diseases that come against us because we are fearful of doing in the workplace, fearful of job loss, fearful of, not being able to send the kids to college. I want you to know that if job stress is impacting your life, nothing else matters. Nothing else can matter, because your entire being is caught up in the workplace, and you have to be able to separate yourself from the job, and change your mind about what your outcome should be. Because when you don't, then you end up becoming a burnout, and you lose your job, and you do things that, out of impatience and distrust in the Lord. And we want to help you set up more of a foundation of knowing how to be empowered employees so that you do not fall victim, so that you do not come up against a lot of resistance and then don't know how to overcome it and don't have the information and the support to overcome it. So like I said, after I experienced my went through my own situation with workplace discrimination, bias and burnout, combined with my 30 years of healthcare experience and my 18 years of nursing and my 6 years of retaliation wisdom, I created RX for Life to help other Black women just like you eliminate stress and enjoy luxuries reserved for the wealthy. Now, this series that I've been talking about is coming out of the framework from the US Surgeon General and mental health and well being. Okay. And so, according to the Surgeon General, there are 5 components for mental well being. This week, tonight, we're talking about normalizing mental health and supporting mental health. And I kind of want you to understand that these 4 things that we're discussing is how you're going to stop your pain right now. Um, it's broken down in 4. You may need help with an accommodation in the workplace, or talking about moral distress that's happening in the workplace so that it doesn't affect your mental and doesn't seep inside of you, so that you're empowered and encouraged to do what it is that you're supposed to do, and trusting that you are more important and more valuable than a corporation's bottom line. And then we want to help you enable the rest that you need. Some of you may be getting ready to file charges of discrimination against your employer, or you may be going through some workers' comp issue. The very best thing that you can do for yourself and for your future is to enable rest right now, because you are going to enter into some type of psychological warfare that will exhaust you and make your head spin. And if you're exhausted, and you can't think straight and you don't have a healthcare professional in your corner, then you're not going to be able to really manage this situation like you should, right? You're not going to be able to differentiate between what it is that you know you're supposed to be doing and what you're doing because you're fearful of losing, or fearful of the corporation, or fearful of corporate tactics and everything. You want to have that support, and I'm here to support you in those areas. And so also the other 4 is the normalizing mental health, which normalizing and supporting mental health, which we're going to talk about tonight. So if you need help in any of those areas, I encourage you to contact me. Go to my website, yourrxforlife.com. I'll leave it in the caption, and you can send me a contact form, a question on the contact form, and I'll be happy to respond to you. And better yet, you can schedule you a one-on-one next step discovery call where I will tell you exactly what it is that you should be doing to stop the pain of what it is you're experiencing right now, so that you're not caught up in systemic issues, right? So let's go ahead and get into it. So I'm going to read to you what the Surgeon General wrote about this component in the mental health. It's a little lengthy, not really, but I read a little slow. So it says, normalize and support mental health. Third, organizations can further normalize and support mental health while decreasing stigma at work by validating challenges, communicating mental health and well being as priorities, and offering both support and prevention services. Okay. Then it goes on to say leaders and managers throughout an organization must be supported to create a culture of inclusivity and to normalize mental health care. This culture includes modeling, communicating, regularly promoting, and supporting workers' access to services throughout all channels of worker engagement. This should also include training and support for supervisors at all levels with resources, including on call services such as workplace employee assistance programs, which remain significantly underutilized. Organizations can regularly evaluate EAP utilization and strive to promote, improve, and supplement them based on worker need. Employers should review benefit packages and provide comprehensive healthcare coverage that includes access to mental health and substance use care and treatment. Organizations can further make mental health care more easily accessible while ensuring confidentiality by facilitating access to both on site and off site after hours care, encouraging time off for mental health care, and supporting access to quality and affordable mental health care services, including telehealth. Workplace leaders can further normalize mental health by supporting organizational and local efforts to address stigma, such as by signing on to the National Alliance of Mental Illness Stigma Free Company Pledge. I have a lot to talk about with this, but because I can't share my PowerPoints, I'm not going to go deep into this. There will be another opportunity for us to get together for a longer venue to really kind of unpack all of this for you and tell you how to navigate mental health services. So I agree with a lot of these things, but remember that I'm the majority of Black women who are experiencing job stress because of discrimination on the job, because of institutional racism on the job. And no matter what benefits you have for your employer, it's always the same. They're going to be allies with your employer. And they spoke about confidentiality. So if you're going to your EAPs and you're going and using your health insurance for any other reason that doesn't have to do with work with your feelings about something that's illegal going on, do know that they have access to those records, okay? I want you to know they have access to those records and they will use those records against you. Your employer owns your policy, okay? You're a member on that policy, but your employer owns it. And they get the codings, they get the billings, they get all of those things. So I know because I went through this and I sat with the psychiatrist for 2 years and they really wanted to get all of the records, but they found out some kind of way that I was going and then they wanted to use that against me also. So you have to be careful and you have to be mindful about these things because you don't want to give the enemy your upper hand, the upper hand. And that's just the way it is. This is just how the system is. And so for sure, your employers want to do the right thing. I don't knock employment. I love employment. I love organized employment for sure. I could not imagine America without it. However, I am saying that you have to be mindful of what it is that you're talking about in the workplace. Because even if you have like legal aid with your employer, you can't use it to sue your employer, right? So you just have to be careful about the things that you do. And you do need to be able to talk to someone who is a healthcare professional, who is experienced with workplace discrimination, healthcare bias, and burnout, and have a legal authority to provide you a plan so that other people can fall into line with what your health equity outcomes and plans are. So we work for you, right? We're service providers for you, the patient. So then I want to go ahead and talk to you about how I feel about particularly depressive disorder stemming out of work. So I just want to go on record that I do not believe in depressive disorders in the same way as my professional colleagues do. Okay. I don't even see mental illness the same way. Now, I'm specifically speaking about depressive disorders, anxiety that stems from workplace issues. If you are having issues, mental health issues, other than your identity tied to your workplace, your financials at your workplace, your way of life at your workplace, then please go to therapy, go talk to your doctor. If you need help with childhood traumas and all of those things, I very much encourage you to go and sit down and hear your soul speak. I do have an issue with men and women who are career professional who have been holding down gainful employment and been to college and raised children, then all of a sudden you're diagnosed with depressive disorders because you have some workplace issue. Right? It just doesn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me when I was going through it, but it was the system that was in place for me. So I took it and it almost destroyed my life. Okay. I do not want workplace issues destroying your life. Okay. I do not want you trying pills and medications so that you can tolerate injustices in work because it can destroy your life. And this is just my warning out to you all to make sure that you understand what you are dealing with and what you're going up against. And you have to follow the spirit of your truth that is inside you. Okay. So, and why do I say that? So, what often helps me to unpack and to correlate my professional opinion about mental illness is the word drapetomania. I don't know if you know what drapetomania is. It is a mental illness that was coined by Dr. Samuel A. Cartwright during the antebellum period. So, during slavery times, Cartwright is the father of psychiatry. And during these times, he said that the slaves who wanted to run away from their masters had a mental illness. So these slaves were slaves, right? They were working long hours. They were doing repetitive motions. They were, you know, beat browbeat. They were all of these things. And they still had a spirit and still had a desire for something that was better, something that had to be better than what they were experiencing in the workplace. Um, Although drapetomania was debunked as a pseudoscience, it is my professional belief that drapetomania is depressive disorders. Okay. It's the same parallelism for today's work force. Black women who are in want of their employee rights, they're desiring their freedom. Their freedom is to use their employee rights. They are being diagnosed and judged and browbeat in the same manner as before, as then, as they are now. So that is why I feel like that. So workplace mental health certainly needs its own space in healthcare to make sure that you are making the best decision for your future. Because if you accept that medical diagnosis and you accept that medication and you never handle the conflict that's before you, then you're kind of setting yourself up for, well, you are setting yourself up for pre-existing conditions. You know how hard it is to get life insurance and different things and get buy a gun if that's your thing with these type of medical judgments against you, all because you were going through some issue in the workplace. No, I think that you all deserve better than that. And I think that you would benefit from a health equity plan just to kind of, connect the dots and let someone be the praxis between what it is that you're experiencing in the workplace so that you can change your outcome. Where is my PowerPoint? So, okay, so I'm not going to hold you all too much this evening. I am just wanting to talk to you a little bit more about how you can normalize and support your mental health. First of all, you need to make sure that your mental health is not your that mental illness or slights to your mental health or depressive symptoms and things that's happening to you is not attached to some discriminatory issue that's happening in the workplace. Uh, a few of my clients have come to me in pretty much despair and in tears and crying, and they had no idea that they were feeling the way that they were feeling because they were being taken advantage of. Like one young lady was given a blanket, wow, um, a baseline salary of $50,000 and was having her to do work like non-exempt work, but she was really an exempt employee. And so these things were weighing on her, and she had no idea that they were taking place until she and I sat down. And then she ended up, you know, confronting her employer about it. They were pissed off, but I mean, are you worried about somebody being pissed off? You're not worried about anybody being pissed off, are you? They were pissed off, but at the end of the day, she ended up getting her money back. And she called an attorney, right? And the attorney said to call me when they fire you. Do you have any idea, ladies, what it feels like to wait to be fired? What what are you supposed to do with yourself while you're waiting to be fired? No. So she came to me. We strategized, and her. I'm not laughing at them. I'm just like I'm laughing at the missed opportunities that people lose because they're fearful. And I'm not laughing at it as a joke way. I'm just laughing at it like, God, it's so easy. I just want them to see how easy this is. And this happened just before the pandemic for this young lady. When everything was shut down, this company also was shut down, and she was the only employee here who was qualified for unemployment because the rest of the people quit their jobs. They didn't find another, I don't know if they found another job, but they quit their job. And what this young lady told me is that they didn't even qualify for unemployment because they quit right before the pandemic. And this young lady that I helped, she got her unemployment and she got extra money. Like, so she was really set in what it is that she was experiencing. And beside that, she grew in confidence. She knew how to now speak up for herself without fear of retaliation. And she saw just how fickle your coworkers are. And so you can't attach yourself to anyone when you're experiencing these anxieties and these thought patterns. They're real things that may be happening in the work, and you have to address them. Like, it's the same thing, like your vision wasn't given to anyone else. Like, these things are happening for you for your own edification, for your own acceleration through the issue that you're experiencing. So, like always, I really want to encourage you to take time off. I would love to see you all take 40 days off from work. I know 40 days may seem like a lot, but it really isn't a lot. And it really does give an opportunity to allow God to show up in your life. Like, if you are doing everything in your own strength, where is the God that you say you love? If you're doing everything in your own strength, if you have no room and no virtue, virtue is about leaving space, something that's bigger than you, so that he can fill in that area. And so this is part of what the 40 days is all about in your rest. This your sacrifice. Like, we all have to sacrifice, and we all have to suffer. If you're a believer in Christ, and he says that we suffer the same way he suffered, we partake in the same cup that he partake in. I mean, I be hearing people say, "I wasn't meant to suffer." I don't that's kinda wicked sounded to me, like, you're not meant to suffer, like, you can change your mind about what you suffering through, but you're not meant to suffer, like, did we not suffer a great fall already? Yes, we have, and suffering is what gets us back to that, and then so let me go ahead and speak about stigma just a little bit, just to change perspective of stigma since we're on Christ right now. So that whole saying about the stripes of Christ that heals, or the stripes of Jesus that heal, the stripes, his stripes were affliction, his stripes were persecution, his stripes were humiliation. So we partake in that. These things are not going to physically happen to you because the kingdom of God is within us, right? The kingdom of heaven is within us, right? So we have to worship through these things. I know how dark and depressing and isolating and mind-boggling it can be, but we can worship through these things. Like, had I not done it, I wouldn't even be here trying to just get the message and the word out for others to do it too. For others to do it too. And the workplace is where these things take place. Because when we do not protect our health in the workplace, you guys, I want you to take some time off so that you can really take an assessment of what it is that you're experiencing, what it is that you're going through, so you can ID your outcome and your vision, so that you can develop some implementation strategies and do what it is that you're supposed to be doing for yourself. Assign a valuation to what it is that you're experiencing and learn how to wait on the Lord, because it is better to have patience to wait on the Lord than to have be a patient in the waiting room of your doctor's office. And don't think I don't love medicine. I've been in healthcare for 30 years. Healthcare is my beloved healthcare, but you guys, it's so different. It's just so different. It's just not the same. And you need something different so that you can get a different outcome, so that you do not fall victim to America's public health crises, because we need for you to um, gird up yourself and protect your mental health and find the support that the US government, that the US Surgeon General is laying out a framework for you to do. And I am opening my company up and myself up so that I can have help for you to do these things, because as Black women, we do not fall into the standard population when we experience discrimination, bias, and burnout. We become an outlier. And I don't want you to become an outlier. I want to keep you in the standard population, keep you gainfully employed, keep you with a plan, and let other people know that you're not here for all that mess. You want to you want what's yours, and I want to help you to attain that, right? Because when you win, we all win. Black woman, when you win, we all win. And I want to offer you an opportunity to sit down with me and discuss your health equity plan, what your next step is. We specialize in workplace discrimination, bias, and burnout. So just schedule your next step call. The first 10 to schedule and complete a next step call will receive covered. This is covered. Covered is a luxury perfume oil. It is 60 mLs, and you will receive this perfume. It's natural, it has no chemicals in it. It is divine. I love to rub it on my feet and my hands, and it has been tested for friendliness and likableness inside of a hospital setting over the past 13 weeks. And it absolutely is a mood changer. anxiety reducer. You just, rub it on your hands, do a quick massage, rub it on your feet, and then do a nice big inhale. I do believe that these essential oils and fine perfumes and oil perfumes is the missing link to better stress management. Every one of God's servants used an essential oil, and so there must be something special and unique about it. And maybe one day I'll do some information on them, but it won't be tonight. Like I have the chemistry of essential oils. Like I'm just in awe about God being in the molecules. It's just wonderful. So the oil is yours. The health equity plan is yours. You just pay $10 shipping and handling. Okay. So if you have any questions, like I said, please go to my website and I will leave my web address on the bottom in the caption. And have a wonderful night. If you have questions, comments, please like and share. Someone out there desperately needs this information. Tell them about RX for Life, okay? Until next time, be well.